The neighborhoods of Oakridge and Marpole are intersected with major traffic arteries, and as plans for major developments and densification get underway, some residents are concerned about pedestrian safety, dangerous drivers, and congestion.
There's so much development going up right now, and it's just getting busier and busier, especially that intersection, Cambie and Marine Drive. I have seen so many cars fly through yellow lights. I mean, my girls are young, so when I do take them out, I'm with them all the time, but I'm very, very, they hold my hands, and they're not to let go. I don't let them go ahead, nothing like that. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when that development in that one's ready. I can only imagine how that's going to be. I hope I'm not going to be here then.
The streets are not only a danger to small children. Some senior citizens are finding the local traffic to be a safety concern as well. This area, do you feel safe, crossing the intersections around Southwest Marine Drive?
No, I don't feel safe at all. Yeah, I don't feel safe because for seniors, especially seniors, they don't walk too fast. They can't get across, and they feel like there's a rush. Mm-hmm. Well, with more pedestrians, more traffic, and there'll be a lot of congestion.
While residents are concerned densification in the community will make traffic issues worse, a former Vancouver City planner and UBC professor believes that with the right traffic calming measures, Oakridge and Marpole could become a more pedestrian-friendly area. As you think of, Marine Drive doesn't have many stops, doesn't have many streetlights, and walkability is almost non-existent.
It's horrible. It's actually a highway in the disguise of a city street. So our students looked at that, and again, the strategy was to narrow the lanes, reduce the number of turning lanes, make it somewhat more difficult for the car to move through there fast. And the consequence of that was it allowed for sidewalks to get wider, for kids to have much more safety crossing streets. The streets became at least reasonable to expect bicycles to share those roads and so forth.
From speaking with Patrick Condon, one thing is clear. As more residents move into the Oakridge and Marpole area, traffic will slow down. We connect now with John Maroney, a Carlsberg rep who spends a lot of working hours driving Vancouver's streets.
I am a territory manager for Carlsberg, Canada. So I look after the territories of Kitsilano, West Vancouver, Richmond, Marpole, and Ladner, Delta, and Tsawwassen.
In Oakridge and Marpole, they're undergoing community redevelopment programs, which are going to bring a lot more residents to a neighborhood. Those neighborhoods also have major arterials for Vancouver. What's your experience driving through those neighborhoods?
I drive through them quite a bit. Like I said, I look after the Marpole area. Also, when trying to get to Richmond and Ladner, Delta, Tsawwassen, I'm driving over the Oak Street Bridge. So I drive up Granville, up Oak, at least 2-3 times a week. Definitely, I would say up past or anywhere between 57th and 70th, both on Granville and Oak. Everything moves pretty quickly after 33rd until you hit about 57th, and then everything kind of gets pretty congested again.
Marpole right now has a population of 20,000, and that's the neighborhood that's sitting right on the Oak Street Bridge and the Granville Bridge, the two arterials that lead from Vancouver to Richmond. They're going to increase the population of that area by a third. They're going to add 10,000 new residents, and that's really going to slow things down. What do you think that's going to mean for people whose job relies on being able to commute between the two cities?
I think it'll be, in terms of driving, I think everything will slow down substantially, just as a result that it is much more residential, a lot more kind of people, a lot more going on. So in terms of commuting, I do think that, everything will just slow down. I don't know if it'll pose an issue in terms of getting from one spot to the other. I think it'll happen at a much slower pace.
We go now to speak with Michelle Fallman, who lives with her family in an apartment near 41st Avenue between Cambie and Oak, right in the heart of the Oakridge Community Plan. She commutes daily through Oakridge and Marpole to her job in Tsawwassen.
I've lived in Oakridge for about a year and a half now.
And before that, where were you living?
We lived in Tsawwassen for 17 years.
And how would you compare the traffic and congestion in this neighborhood compared to Upper Tuason, which is a small area?
Here, there's a lot more congestion, I would say for sure. Faster pace, lots more pedestrians that we're probably not used to in Tuason, having the smaller community in 2 lanes as opposed to 4 lanes or that type of thing.
That a danger to pedestrians at all, do you feel, in this neighborhood?
I think particularly at night, being very well lit. I think basically coming here in Vancouver, I've noticed most people wear dark clothing and umbrellas are usually dark. So yeah, making left turns, making right turns, the turning, with the lights and the rain and the dark lighting. And more pedestrians due to like bus stops and transit stops and the SkyTrain and things like that. But yeah, there's far more people and you're just not always aware of where people are coming from and how they're racing to get a train or racing to get a bus and cutting corners. And so you're far more on your toes for left turns, right turns, and darker weather.
Absolutely. I think that these concerns and the things we've mentioned in terms of the amount of pedestrians, the really major kind of bus stops, SkyTrain stations with a lot of traffic, do you think that all of these things are going to continue to get worse and create more problems?
I think, hopefully not. But I would hope that with development comes, better lighting, hopefully pedestrian crossings, and maybe, better crossing, wider crosswalks, maybe more signage to say, caution on red, or something that really helps drivers, having lots of new drivers as well in the community, something that is just keeping us more aware that it is more congested.
While residents of Oak Ridge and Marpole are concerned about their safety, about traffic congestion, and the uncertainty of their neighborhood's future, they'll have to be patient and hopeful as redevelopment gets underway. For the Vancouver Southwest, I'm Patrick Colvin.